Just a quick message, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video. This helps bring brand awareness to the channel as well as all Forex Shark related projects. Thank you. Hey guys, welcome back. DeFi, degens, drip, and farm for poverty. I'm your host, Drip Coach, dropping knowledge bombs on all Forex Shark related projects. In today's video, we got a huge knowledge bomb coming out from the macro market regarding stablecoin transparency and an act that could get passed as soon as this video is actually released. So right now it's November 8th where I am. But it's not quite November 8th as the recording of this video, and meaning the midterm elections haven't been decided or finished. But this act is supposed to pass shortly thereafter, and basically overnight could change the face of crypto as we know it. But let's hear it straight from someone far smarter than me that deals with this stuff and has been a key player in getting this passed. So we're going to hear from Kevin O'Leary.
Or get lost. As the global crypto market struggles to surpass $1 trillion in cumulative market cap, Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary believes that potential upcoming stablecoin regulations could be the next thing to fuel the market. In a new interview with Scott Melker, Mr. Wonderful opined that when regulations come, Bitcoin goes up, explaining that if institutions smell policy, then you got a real move up. Mr. Wonderful explained that there is a bill called the Stablecoin Transparency Act that has a chance of getting passed by the U.S. Congress after November 8, when the midterm elections take place. The Shark Tank star explained, "This act is very simple in nature, which is why it may pass. It's being supported by both parties, and the reason that's the case is that it makes effectively a U.S. dollar the default payment system worldwide." He proceeded to describe why the passing of this act will boost the price of Bitcoin. Even though it has nothing to do with Bitcoin, that will be the first regulation passed by U.S. regulators, and I would argue you want to be long Bitcoin going into that outcome, O'Leary emphasized. "You're going to see a lot of interest in institutional capital coming into stablecoins," he added. Before we listen to Ms. Wonderful, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching our videos. We appreciate you a lot.
We've had lots of pundits, Jamie Dimon lately calling it decentralized Ponzi schemes. He was speaking specifically to stablecoins, I believe, in that statement. However, at the same time, this bill called the Stablecoin Transparency Act is making its way. It's getting close to markup. And the reason it's interesting is it only does one thing. It only deals with stablecoins that are regulated and backed by the US dollar, nothing else. It's not trying to solve for NFTs, doesn't care about Bitcoin. It's basically going through legislation on a bipartisan basis as a payment system. And the reason you should be optimistic for this is why both sides of the aisle support this is it basically overnight, should it get regulated, creates the very first global payment system backed by the US dollar, making the US dollar the default payment system globally. And it will be adopted by every country except North Korea, Russia, and China. Overnight, it will make America even a stronger nation in terms of settling for financial services. So it'll be the very first crypto policy that passes probably sometime after November 8th. But everybody in here should be optimistic about that because that signals the onslaught of more regulation that will deal with other digital commodities like Bitcoin and everything else.
So he said in here that this act that I'm going to show you about and give you some more context on is basically a catalyst where people should be long Bitcoin, because it will act as kind of the foundation to start adding regulation to the space for big institutional capital. So I would argue that we should be long BNB, and I'm going to show you why, because of how big this is going to be and what the implications are. But first, let's unpack what the Stablecoin Act is. So as he said, it should be coming out after the midterm elections. But we don't know exactly when, but it's a win-win for everybody. So the Stablecoin Transparency Act is a bill that requires stablecoin issuers to hold all reserves associated with each fiat currency-backed stablecoin they issue. Certain government securities, fully collateralized security repurchase agreements, or US dollars or other non-digital currency. A fiat currency-backed stablecoin is a digital asset backed by a non-digital currency and is redeemable on a one-to-one basis in that currency. So all that fluff, basically the only part we care about is the last part about a digital asset backed by basically physical dollars. And you can get a little more detail in this breakdown on investing.com. It says here that whatever the outcome of the upcoming midterm elections, the passage of legislation on stablecoins and other digital assets almost certain. Just like Kevin O'Leary said, it's almost certain because it's a win-win for both sides. And as we've seen recently, what the inflation is doing to other currencies. And unfortunately, all other currencies in the world basically transact or settle their international shipping and stuff like that in US dollars. So when I bought equipment from China to get here, it was denominated in dollars. You buy oil from, you know, Saudi Arabia, ship it somewhere else to India, there's no rupees or the Saudi, whatever it is, it's dollars, right? So by getting BUSD, or not, sorry, not BUSD, spoiler alert, by getting any of the stable coins that are backed by USD regulated, that means that those big companies, and Kevin O'Leary has multiple of those, can actually settle payments faster and save millions, if not billions per year. And that is huge, huge, huge. All right, next up, primary oversight of stablecoin issuers will be in the hands of the Office of the Comptroller of Currency. This is huge. So this means stablecoin regulation does not fall on the SEC, who's screwing everybody in crypto right now, or the Fed, who's inflating the dollar and screwing things up. It's going to fall specifically on the Office of Comptroller of Currency, even though, of course, if the Fed makes more dollars, then that ties to stablecoins as well. But the bill also requires FDIC to develop an insurance fund of rated stablecoins for redemption payments from non-bank issuers. This is huge as well. Remember, people with investor level capital, huge institution capital, they don't want to get into crypto if there's a potential for them to lose their money. But if stablecoins are backed by FDIC, then that means there's no risk to them. They will be able to get their money back should something happen. Now, granted, this will probably only work for like central exchanges, but remember, we're on Binance. Binance uses BUSD. I'm going to explain why that's significant. And lastly, since this bill would only apply to fiat-backed stablecoins, require stablecoin issuers to report reserves to users on their financial balances on a monthly basis. These are all important parts because BUSD is a stablecoin founded by Paxos and Binance and is one of the few stablecoins that are compliant with the strict regulatory standards of the NYDFS. So that's why this is super important. So we are on the Binance Smart Chain, and Binance has dotted all the I's, crossed the T's for their BUSD. A key characteristic of BUSD is that 1 unit of BUSD is equivalent to $1 US. To support this value, Paxos holds an amount of US dollars that is equal to the total supply of BUSD. Therefore, the price stablecoin fluctuates directly with the price of USD. BUSD provides a monthly audited report and of reserves, in compliance with stringent regulatory standards to ensure the security and safety of user assets. That is a mic drop. So BUSD will definitely be supported underneath this new stablecoin regulation act. There are other currencies out there, but I don't care about those because we're tied to BUSD. And this is why reference Kevin O'Leary's statement saying that you want to be long Bitcoin is, yeah, eventually long term people are going to get into Bitcoin, but I could see a price pump in BNB specifically to this. And I'm gonna get into the next part of that shortly. But first, let's go back to Kevin O'Leary and show you the amount of money that this is going to save and why this is so huge.
One of the great promises of Web3 and why we're all here today is that Web3 should signal the mass adoption of blockchain technology. And all of the dollars that are going into Web3 development are trying to do that, solving for the security of wallets, the ease of use of wallets, the transparency of the chain, making it adaptable and easy to use. And the killer app, I would agree with you, would be a downloadable app that would let me store my USDC or whichever stablecoin I choose to use as a payment system and allow me to use that anywhere in the world, in the countries that have adopted it, with a fraction of the friction fees. Imagine a credit card is 350 basis points, ACH transfer fees, SWIFT system transfer fees, all those fees. Now, you wonder why Jamie Dimon is trying to talk this down. I mean, this is threatening his book in a big way. And so just payment systems alone are going to really cause some headaches in banks because they love to transfer assets between themselves and charge you friction. Their gas fees are crazy high. And so
that's reference to, like you said, ACH and SWIFT transfer fees. So if you're not familiar, SWIFT is the payment processor in which you basically can send between banks. And they estimate $5 trillion a day in transactions. And they charge, I don't know what the percentage is, but I couldn't find that right now. But that is a lot of money of daily volume that is being used across the globe. If this stablecoin act can replace even a fraction of this initially, that is a lot of money that all of a sudden comes into crypto. Now, it's not going to pour directly into Binance or whatever, but it does allow it to go into these stable coins that are supported by this bill. And Tether and USDC are definitely up there in regards to market cap, and BUSD is down below. But all of these coins, I think, would actually, technically they're tokens, I think they would actually all benefit from this. I don't know what platforms or, you know, who would use what, but the fact that Binance is its own chain and has a crypto asset that is a stablecoin tied to it, to me is extremely significant, because any of those institutions that are trying to take a chunk out of that $5 trillion of daily transaction volume are going to have to get into an exchange to start transacting, going back and forth. Well, BUSD is the only one out of USDC and Tether. So long term, this could be extremely, extremely powerful for the Binance Smart Chain. And this amount of money that is being transacted, they said it made 36 million in 2020. I think it was probably more than that, but I didn't feel like doing any deeper dives into this. Just want to show you how big and impactful this actually is. On top of that, we have the existing CFI rates, right? So best BUSD interest rates for November 22. You come to, for this CFI is centralized finance. You can get 5%, 7% on the first 20K. Basically better rates on your USD once you come over to centralized finance, right? And so a lot of this institutional capital I could see coming over to platforms to stake a percentage in BUSD, because it's the same as what they're doing with their current USD sitting in their bank somewhere that's not earning anywhere near these yields. And again, Binance has 8% flexible on theirs for BUSD. So the whole point of this is just to show you that this is one of the tailwinds and catalysts I was talking about that could start to show a shift in the market. If something like this were to come in relatively soon, nobody knows for certain, but I think that means the bottom would be in for crypto, because there could be a lot of money coming in, and it'd be less likely to have a major sell-off or correction if you're getting tons of capital. Remember, we're sitting at less than $1 trillion market cap right now in all of crypto, and Swift processes 5 trillion a day. Again, not all this is coming in, so don't mistake me for saying that, but definitely a fraction of this, like Kevin O'Leary, his businesses, he wants to use stable coins to transact. And the more these bigger, whoever he deals with will have to be using that as well, right? So this will become a catalyst. I don't know how long that takes, but having regulation is the first step. And again, being on the Binance Smart Chain and us tied to that tailwind, I think is huge, huge, huge. Can't even stress that enough. So hopefully we see this in the near to short term, but wanted to share that with you guys on here, because I'm all about sharing education and these knowledge bombs, as I tell you guys about. So let's keep our eyes peeled for that and see what happens. So you guys know the drill. If that provided value, please smash that HBO special, help a brother out. We're pushing our way up. And until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.